Non c'è audio.
No. Da parte mia un velocissimo benvenuto, continuerò in inglese per rispetto del nostro ospite. Welcome to all my colleagues of the Osservatorio TuttiMedia who wanted to be here with us to welcome Commissioner Mariya Gabriel, that we are very, very proud to have here with us. Thank you. And welcome to all the students of the Master, ULM, Master in Journalism, that our company Mediaset and ULM, the university, join and try to manage to train new journalists, the next future. I believe that for all of us, this is a very precious opportunity to listen to one of the most important European representatives, and she is involved in our teams, and I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks. I leave the floor to Mariya Pia. Thank you.
Thank you, Edita, and thank you to everybody and all the members of the Osservatorio, which came always for our events. And this event is taken in Mediaset because all the events of TuttiMedia take place in the Office of Partners. So now we are here, and we are with Commissioner Gabriel, whom I thank for accepting the invitation and the award Donna e Innovazione. Thank you. And next time we hope to meet in Brussels to speak about our News Media for Good, which is the project that TuttiMedia have launched with the ambition of uniting those who want to support mediated, balanced, and competent information. And for 20 years, Osservatorio TuttiMedia has united, connected, igniting the cultural fire of knowledge to face, without preconceptions, the challenge of digital transformation that is reposed through the page of Media 2000. Independent magazine that turns 40 in the next year. And for this, I thanks all Osservatorio TuttiMedia that supports the review. And I have to say, you were not made to live like brutes, but to follow virtue and knowledge. Are the words of Ulysses uses in the verse 119 of the Canti 26 of Dante Alighieri Inferno, to convince the companion to continue the journey beyond the pillars of Hercules, that for us are the symbolic gateway to an inclusive, green, equal, and properly informed society. So I invite Gina Nieri, member of Mediaset, on the stage, and I thank her to be with us for all the afternoon. Please.
Mariya Gabriel has been elected 3 times to the European Parliament, and she's among the 50 most influential women in Europe. And I think that she deserves this position. Since her first mandate, she has been committed to fighting online misinformation. From 2017 and 2019 as Commissioner for the Digital Economy and Society, she led the Commission in the fight against the spread of fake news, a phenomenon that online platforms and social media have made an emergency of our society, putting pressure on broadcasters who make transparency, plurality, reliability and responsibility for information their essence promoting democracy. We are very proud for this role. She created an ad hoc high-level group whose result were the drafting of the first report on fake news and online disinformation and the code of conduct, which still represent an European reference point to contain the phenomenon. This work paved the way for the legislative activity of the Commission in the drafting of the Digital Service Act, in the Digital Markets Act, and the Media Freedom Act. That is very, very important for everybody of us. For Mariya Gabriel, the spread of fake news is the symptom of an information disease which shows the vulnerability of our societies. For this reason, she invited to join forces to fight against the epidemic and false information online, following the 4 cardinal points of transparency, diversity of information, credibility, and supporting the need for inclusive solutions to have a reliable, plural, and quality information. We at TuttiMedia have taken up the suggestion and launched the News Media for Good project in order to promote a new ethic for digital communication in which the economic sustainability of the entire media system can be a priority. Merci. Un grand merci, Madame la Commissaire, pour vous être ici.
Gina, thanks, Gina. And you want to say us hello with Leonardo Panetta, which takes the floor. Yep. And if you want to say something.
Hello. I would like to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. First of all, it's such a pleasure to see familiar faces. Madame Nieri, dear Gina, I will always remember your engagement, your mobilization, and your conviction when we started this work to tackle disinformation. Somehow I'm glad and not so much satisfied. I'm glad because we raised this issue for the first time together with you at European level. And since these last 4 years, I'm not satisfied because what we already talked about 40 years ago, now there is a lot of people that finally understand what we need to do and what we tried to do. So I would like just to say thank you very much. On the other side, I would like to say thank you to TuttiMedia and the Osservatorio, because that's a great occasion to be here together with you. First of all, because for me, you, every one of you, all these extraordinary women, you are a role model for me. And I think that that's what we need, to be inspirational, to learn from each other, to recognize when there is some achievements, and at the same time to see how we can strengthen our cooperation, how we can join forces, how we can make more visible the achievements of women and all those that are working for a better world. And that's my message for you, young ladies. We count on you, because yes, I fully believe that with more women in decision-making positions, in fields that are crucial for our future, like media, like innovation, like research, like culture, we definitely have here a potential to unlock, and that's why everyone has played a role, and every one of you too. So thank you very much. It's a great pleasure again to be with all of you here today.
Thank you again. And then there are the questions from our partners, and we began from Facebook, and you can introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I wanted to thank, first of all, Commissioner Gabriel for giving us the opportunity to be here. I'm Laura Bononcini. I'm in charge of public policy for Meta in Southern Europe. I also wanted to thank, of course, Osservatorio TuttiMedia. We've been part of the Osservatorio for, I think, 8 years now, and it's been an honor continuing this adventure together, and obviously Mediaset Ginanieri for hosting us today. The question that I have for you is related to responsible innovation, which is something that I think is a focus and a priority, not only for digital businesses, but for the economy in general, for our society. We have seen how important innovation, and even if I can say it, tools such as the one that I represent, have been very important during the pandemic. The approach to innovation has changed so much, especially in the last 2 years. And I think this change of paradigm is something that we should be focusing on a lot. Promoting responsible innovation is something that, of course, is extremely important for Meta, and I think also the announcement that we made related to the metaverse is inserted into that. But to promote responsible innovation from our point of view, we have to put citizens in the middle, obviously, otherwise it's not responsible. We have to create a constant dialogue between businesses and institutions, and this is something that, again, we want to make sure that we're going to do with the development of the metaverse, because we have seen that it's impossible to start an innovation without thinking already about its regulation, and this is something that I think we've learned and that we will continue working on. And the third point, which is very important and I know is a key focus for you, is about developing skills for young people, but also for people in general in digital, and developing the skills for businesses as well. So my question to you is how can businesses contribute to boosting cutting-edge innovation in the EU, and also how can private and public work together to actually best achieve this responsible innovation?
Thank you very much for this question. Well, first of all, what I would like to say is that already we have businesses that are at the forefront of the cutting-edge technologies and this disruptive innovation. What we are witnessing now, it's a new wave of innovation. And we talk somehow about this. Actually, the third wave of innovation, that was the digital wave of innovation. But actually, we have a new fourth wave of innovation, which is somehow on the border between science and industry, citizens and sustainable development goals. And here, our European companies are very well positioned. I must say that for the last 1 year, in 2021, we have seen an extraordinary positive development. For the first time, the investment in startups in Europe tripled, 100 billion euros. For the first time, the investment in early-stage startups in Europe is at the same level like in the United States. And for the first time, we have doubled the number of our unicorns. So now the question is, yes, there is a new approach to innovation, there is responsible innovation, there is innovation that is proposing solutions to concrete needs to our citizens, in the field of energy, of transport, of health, in agriculture. So that's why it's time really to strengthen this cooperation between businesses, institutions, regions, companies, universities, in an ecosystem approach. That's for me now the challenge, because actually we need to build a pan-European innovation ecosystem in Europe. We have a lot of local ecosystems. We have pockets of excellence. We have extraordinary startups, companies, even champions, unicorns, but they are not connected to each other. They have problems with access to funding. They need talents. The most fierce competition for the next year, that will be the competition for talents. And we have talents in Europe, and we have to propose them support to choose to stay in Europe. And that's why, together with my team, we are working exactly on this question. We would like to tackle 5 main domains, 5 big problems. Access to funding, as I said it, a lot of startups, but there is a need to scale up. That's this growing phase that is very critical and they need support. We need much more diversified pool of talents. That's why universities, researchers, industries have to work hand in hand. And that's why I'm very glad, for example, that for the first time in our European strategy for universities, innovation and research are integral part. Third element, we need to tackle the innovation divide. Actually, there is a huge difference between member states and within regions in one member state. And I don't believe that we can work for a common leadership if we don't tackle this. Fourth element, we need an innovation-friendly regulatory framework. With the innovation, that not means only strict rules, that means to find the balance. We need here to follow and to innovate some of the realities on the ground. And finally, of course, we need something more coherent as approach. We need one-stop shop where the information is accessible, where practices can be exchanged, and that's why I can only welcome the wish to have this partnership between private and public sector, and only by working together with all the different actors of the ecosystem, we can build an ecosystem that is inclusive, that is future-oriented, and that is proposing solutions, concrete solutions for citizens. And that's the new wave of innovation.
Molto interessante, il connubio tra pubblico e privato è molto importante. E adesso una domanda dal nostro direttore scientifico, Derek De Kerkove.
Thank you for your wonderful answer also. You said that 40 years ago the discourse that we are working on started, and that you are both happy but disappointed by the fact that we're still almost at the beginning. And here we have these wonderful women, some of which are already very important, and many will become leaders like yourself. So that's something which is, at the Osservatorio TuttiMedia, we are paying very much attention to. So, and I know it's one of the things that you are holding to your heart very strongly. And for that, the reason that my question is that women have a difficult transition to go through. They have for the last 40 years and more, and before, and not just women here, women in our context, but in many other contexts. So the question is, what are the programs and policies that you have initiated and that you are planning to support this transition?
Thank you very much for your question. Well, I hope that that will be not too much provocative, but for answering to this question, my personal position is that I don't believe in big strategies. I believe in small projects with real added value, making a difference on the ground. And that's what I try to do with my team since I'm Commissioner for Research, Education, Innovation, Culture and Youth. First, there is always an important point to send institutional signal. That means that we have to be courageous and to impose some criteria. And that's what I have done for the first time in the New Horizon Europe program, the biggest in the world program for research and innovation, 95.5 billion euros, to have a gender equality plan. If you'd like to receive public funding, that's an eligibility criterion. Believe me, that was not easy, but now it's here, and we have not only to have these plans, but to see what's about the implementation. And I think that that was a very strong signal for our research organizations, for our universities, because it's great that we have 46% of our PhD graduates women, but there is only 26% of women that are rectors of universities. So we need to work on these issues. The second thing, when we talk about innovation, I fully believe that we need to invest much more in women-led companies, because that means potential, that means great results. And I have one example. Now we have the European Innovation Council. That's our ambition, to have a European unicorn factory. With a budget of 10 billion euro, for the first time we decided not to invest only in projects, but to invest in companies, especially in startups. In March 2020, I asked a question. How many of companies that are women-led are funded by EIC? And the answer was 8%. I don't believe that there is only 8% of talented women able to lead a company. What we decided with my team, it was at least to have 25% of women accessing to interviews. Attention, merit, excellence will be always at the heart of the decision. But we decided to give them more chances to go to an interview. You know what is the result? 5 months later, from 8 to 29% of women-led companies funded by EIC. This year, we have a next level, 40%. And with the European Innovation Council, that's exactly what we try to do. The next initiative is Women Tech EU. I already talked about the deep tech. I firmly believe that Europe here has a chance to be a leader in this deep tech wave of innovation. And we decided to have a new initiative, Women Tech EU. We would like, with 75,000 euro, to fund women-led companies in order to have at least 50. That was last year. This year, we managed to increase the budget from 2 to 10 million euros, and this year we'll fund 130 women-led startups in Europe. The next year, that will be the same. So I have some hopes that from those more than 300 women-led companies, for sure there will be 1 or 2 European champions. And that's what we would like to continue to promote. The third element, because it's good to have this institutional signal, organizational signal, for me what is really important too is to give more visibility to the achievements of women. And that's why we have our Women Innovators Prize. I very much hope that there will be a lot of Italian candidates this year, especially because this year, for the first time, because it is the European Year of Youth, we decided to give 3 awards for women inventors below 30. And that's a moment of celebration. We need, really for me, it's important to promote much more the achievements of those women, because these awards are important for girls. They will have more ambitions, they will have more dreams. And final element, for sure, education and school, and especially STEM. And I must say that personally I prefer to talk about STEAM. Because let's be very honest, STEM with mathematics, engineering, it's not always easy to convince to have much more girls. But if we add art and creativity to STEM, I'm sure that we'll have much more chances to bring to us young girls. And that's what we would like to do with my team. Next year, we would like to have an action plan with very clear targets and results. And that's why we have already an example. The example is with the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. Please pay attention to our project Girls Go Circular. What we would like to do is by 27 to have at least 40,000 girls that obtain training for this circular economy field that is so extraordinary. I know that in Italy we have already schools that are participating in Brescia or in Padova, but what I would like here to say is you are all welcome. Don't hesitate, because we need your talents, we need your skills, and our networks and our support is here for you too. Thank you.
Grazie per l'idea della donna e il territorio, che poi è quella che abbiamo lanciato con Donna e Innovazione. And then next question, the last question from Osservatorio TuttiMedia, which fits very good perché Arts and Culture is here. Introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Gabriel. My name is Giorgia Beltino, and indeed, as she was saying, I lead Google Arts and Culture for Europe, but also Google and YouTube for South Europe in public policy. And I really would like to thank you for your effort for diversity. I strongly believe in everything that you said, and I also think that role models are important, but also pushing the boundaries a little bit, as you have done. Having a pipeline, a diverse pipeline, is needed, otherwise we're not going to move very much from where we are. But my question is more about information and disinformation, starting from 2 things that you've said. First of all, that you try to achieve an ecosystem that is more inclusive, and that small projects that you prefer, small projects that have an impact, you can track the impact instead of big things that you don't really know where they go. And bringing this into the disinformation debate, of course, needless to say that the big operator like YouTube, etc., have a big responsibility when it comes to disinformation, huge, and we know it, and we try really to be committed and to this. The other thing that I've seen is the importance of education. Because you can do whatever you want with the platforms and with engineers, but if people, young or old people, don't know how to find the right information and how to distinguish the good from the fake, then it becomes basically almost impossible to really fight this information. And I agree with you that very often small projects are more impactful than big ones, but do you think that there could be more room for more integration and more collaboration between institutions, school and education, for instance, you mentioned, and platforms? What are other ideas that perhaps the Commission is thinking about to really push, and not just the young people that sometimes are the ones that know the internet better than the others, but even, you know, all generations to really understand that they need really to think twice before believing what they read on the web?
Thank you very much for your question. Well, think before click, it's so important. And I must say that here I definitely didn't change my opinion. I would like to say when we talk about disinformation since the beginning, it's really important to preserve somehow our red lines. That means freedom of expression and access to information. But on the other side, that is not contrary to transparency, responsibility, and cooperation. You are right, there is no miracle solution. Platforms have a crucial role to play. They have their own responsibility. We need to continue to talk about transparency of algorithms and ads and all this. Perfect. But all these solutions are short of medium term. If you'd like to find a long-term solution, we need to invest in education, in media literacy, in critical thinking. Because our objective is not to impose to someone to read something or to choose an information, but it's our duty to provide them tools to have all these at their disposal and to do their informational choice. So that's why I fully believe that definitely we need to continue to invest in media literacy, and the role in the education has a crucial role to play. Maybe here three important things. First, last year, 2021, I have mobilized the e-twinning community. I'm not sure that e-twinning community is very well known in Europe, but that is the largest community of schools in Europe. In this community, we have 150,000 schools, and we have more than 900,000 teachers. So the theme of the year 21, that was tackling disinformation. That was extraordinary to see how teachers from different schools are working with journalists, with innovative companies, with platforms, in order really to learn from each other and to elaborate together tools or different schemes. And that was very, very good signal that we sent, because for the entire year we managed to train more than 5,700 teachers. It's maybe not all of them, but it's already a good critical mass. The second thing, and that's something that now as Commissioner for Education I'm doing too, like when I was Digital Commissioner, we need something at European level. And I know what are my competencies. I have limited competencies about the education system and the content especially, but a few months ago I created a high-level expert group in order to elaborate common European guidelines on tackling disinformation through education and with teachers and educators. They are working very intensively. Madam Nieri knows what that means pace for me, very rapidly. You don't have 3 years to write a report. So we have a meeting with them in July, and my intention is before the end of the year to have these common guidelines published at European level. Of course, after I will count on everyone to promote these to our member states and to see how these can be introduced, how this information can be accessible to all our teachers. The third element is we need definitely to stay more focused on ed tech. We don't talk so much about this new sector of innovation, and during the COVID, we have seen an extraordinary increase of companies proposing digital content, working with different educational institutions, organizations. And I must say that here Europe has a real chance to have champions. A few months ago, I again organized a roundtable with different companies coming from different member states to talk about the importance of ed tech, education technologies. If we don't do this work now, since the beginning, tackling disinformation, elaborating common rules and principles, talking about responsibility and transparency in the same terms, my fear is that in 5 years, again, we'll repeat some of the discussions that we already have seen linked to some of the legislations. And we don't need to repeat that. That's why what we are doing with my team is to promote this intensive dialogue and to elaborate together with them. Of course, not easy, but you can see there is different levels, from the levels of teachers to the levels of institutions to the levels of companies. Again, for me, the challenge is to work together, to co-create the solutions together, in order to be sure that after the solutions that will be implemented will not suddenly surprise some of the main participants in the ecosystem. Thank you.
To give you the prize. So Gina, please come here. And you want to read it? I read the motivation, which we choose Mariya Gabriel as our Donna Innovazione, because it is a role model for women who want an equal society. It is an example of a woman who makes a difference in her territory, the European Union. The concrete action carried out by the Commissioner to overcome the barriers that limit the presence of women in entrepreneurship, her ability to inspire and support girls so that they become protagonists of European innovation. Make her the ideal personification of the Donna is Innovazione project. So this is the targa, usual targa, and so you can have a photo.
Gina. Very Italian.
Okay. Okay. So, if you don't mind, I will ask to the women of our Osservatorio TuttiMedia to come on the stage for a photo all together.
Okay.
Erika?
Quanti sono? Three. Okay.
Okay. So, can we have a photo all together?
Okay.
Okay.
Potete togliere?
Velocemente.
No. Ok. Qui grazie.
Okay.
Perfetto.
Thank you. And now we have to the end of our project, which
I have already the mic.
is live.
Can you hear me? Yes. So just to end this day, for me it's a pleasure to meet Commissioner Gabriel in Brussels. It's like Brussels is following me, or maybe I'm following the Commissioner, because we met a lot of time in Brussels. Maybe, I don't know if that's okay. And just a few words, I met the Commissioner even in the previous role, in the digital, and also in this actual role. And I have to say that she is really the example of a strong woman. Even before in the effort to give a role to the world of digital media, then maybe we have to say that Europe arrived before the others, because also today in the United States are trying to follow our example, And a few days ago, for instance, we complete a path to give rules to the digital world. And we have to say this, it's like to be in the battlefield. And I have to say that even in the first days of the COVID, I remember a few interviews with the commissioner, because if we have resource for the vaccine, we have to say hello to the commissioner, and maybe we have to say hello to the Commissioner Gabriel, because she spent, even when we were not sure that we have a vaccine in 1 year. I remember one interview when we estimated that maybe we had to wait 10 years. And after 1 year, we had the vaccine, and now today we are here and we have a solution for the COVID. So just for this, I have to say hello to the commissioner and to ask, congratulate her. So maybe my questions will be maybe like the previous, but less technical and more emotional, because now we are always wondering about the future of Europe. And so I would like to ask you why it's so important to invest in research and innovation for the future of Europe.
Thank you very much for this question. Well, first of all, it's important to invest in research and innovation, first to preserve our European leadership. Europe is a leader in science. Actually, 25% of all publications at the highest level in the world are European, and we need to preserve this leadership. The second, we need to invest in research because science saves lives. That's exactly the example of the COVID-19 and the vaccine. If we were able to provide the vaccine in less than 1 year, that was exactly because for many years we invested heavily in research. So today it's really important, if you like, to tackle the big challenges like climate change and digitalization. If you'd like to continue to create jobs and to provide this sentiment of security for our people, for their health, for example, we need to continue to invest in research. That's something a little bit different for innovation, because for me, here, Europe now needs to invest much more in innovation. We are a leader in science, we are a leader in some industrial sectors, and that's exactly this new wave of innovation that allow us, if we invest a lot, to be a champion and to be a world leader. And that's why my plea is definitely this time to invest much more in innovation. Innovation, because this new innovation is very closely linked to concrete needs of citizens, as I said it, from health to agriculture to energy to transport. And on the other side, that's a competition, let's be very, very honest. If you'd like to compete with some others, we need to invest in innovation. So for me, when we talk about investing in research and innovation, it's really investing in our European leadership, it's investing in our companies, but that means to see that we need to tackle some of the challenges. Some of the challenges is definitely to work more closely with our citizens. We need some time much more to co-create the different solutions together with them. And that's what we are trying to do with our new Horizon Europe program. We have the new missions with smart cities, with climate adaptation or the protection of sea. We need to co-create this together with them. When we talk about innovative companies, we need to work with our regions. We need to work as closely as possible to the local level. And above all, for me, what is really important is to invest in our talent. Investing in research and innovation, it's investing in our talented European men and women, girls and boys, in our European talent. So I definitely here believe that that's a momentum to seize. First of all, we have Horizon Europe program with this extraordinary budget of 95.5 billion euros. We have Erasmus Plus program with 28 billion euros. First time with Next Generation, there is a massive investment in education, in research and innovation. It's definitely now the good moment to see how this investment can be efficient, because what is important is not the amount of money. What is important is that we have clear ambitions and clear direction. Final point, let's not repeat some errors of the past. We need to preserve this ecosystem approach. That means that our universities have to work closely with industry, that our regions have to be involved in the decisions, that our citizens have to see the effectiveness and why this is useful, these solutions that are debated in front of them. And that's what we try to do together with my team. I firmly believe that if you'd like to succeed, if you'd like to have a better future, to be better prepared, because no one is knowing what will happen, that means investing in research and innovation and education in this knowledge triangle, only with this central idea in mind, for the benefits of citizens, with impact, with something concrete that our citizens will feel in order to be convinced that this investment in research, innovation, and education is an investment for them.
So just to finish, today among the audience there is a class of young students of journalism. I was one of them. I used to be young, and I was one of them. And so, just the last question is, why is so important to invest in young people and especially in women?
Well, first, 2022 is the European Year of Youth. That's what exactly we wanted to say to our young people. We know that they have suffered a lot from COVID-19. We would like to listen to you, we would like to support you, and we would like to see you involved. So for me, this 2022 as European Year of Youth, it's a great occasion to listen to our young people, to identify with them concrete actions, and after to ensure a real legacy. Because for me, 22, it's not stopping at European Year of Youth 31st of December. We need to have something that will stay here. I'm very glad that our young people said it clearly. We have three main priorities: education and training, climate change, mental health. And what I would like to see now is that together with them we are able to have concrete initiatives, from caring from environment to something more on these well-being and mental health issues. When we talk about young women, yeah, definitely we need to do much more. Again, as I said it, for me, what we need it's concrete examples, concrete initiatives, and I must say that we need much more examples for the European Year of Youth with initiatives focused on young girls. What we have done with my team is 1 month ago we launched a new information campaign, She Leads. Every week we are showing a young girl sharing her experience, her message, and what she would like to achieve or what she already achieved. And we have extraordinary Italian girls, we have from all over our member states. So that will be the ambition during an entire year, every week, to promote and to give much more visibility to those young girls that are dreaming, that are achieving, that are talented, and that are able to continue to fight and to tackle into its challenges and to provide solutions. Of course, that's not enough. We need to do something more. Maybe one last example. Do you remember something that I launched when I was digital commissioner? It's No Women, No Panel campaign. I don't participate in an event where I'm the only one woman to talk about these serious issues. No, I think that we should all continue really to inspire others, because sometimes it's just enough to tell to organizers that you will not participate because you are the only one woman, and suddenly 3 hours later you receive a new version of the program with experts. Women are here, they are brilliant, and it's great. So I think that, again, I believe in these kind of small things. When a young girl is looking a panel, a conference, and then she can see that there is expertise, there is leaders, there is companies that are led by women, they can be inspired, and every one of us can make an effort. So again, for me, there is no miracle solution, but we need role models to inspire. Everyone can lead by example, and everyone can do something to transform the ambition into action.
Yeah, thank you to the Commissioner Gabriel. Thank you. I would like to continue the discussion, but you know she has a flight, so Mariya.
We call Franco Sidi, our president, to greet our Commissioner Mariya Gabriel, and also I want to say thank you to Massimo Gaudina. I know that it's the first, and we will have another occasion to stay together, and after we will have a photo together, if you don't mind. And I will give you the greeting from Stati Generali delle Donne, which wants to be part of this innovation, and I will send you a letter that the President will send to me right away. And Franco Sidi, say you goodbye, because I know you are in the
Thank you. I will speak in Italian because you, the Commissione multilingua, and in Europe, io apprezzo molto che siamo molto contenti di avere qui la Commissaria europea per la gioventù, l'innovazione, la cultura e il multilinguismo. In un'Europa come questa è molto importante il multilinguismo anche, no? Perché riuscire a capirsi nel tempo dell'innovazione è la cosa fondamentale per il progresso e la civiltà. Mi pare che capisci, allora proseguo, altrimenti faccio tradurre. Potrei tradurre in francese se vuole, l'inglese è un po' debole, non voglio rischiare. Allora
Maybe we translate.
siamo...
It's okay, she understands Italian.
Sono molto contento che lei abbia molto gradito il nostro premio e noi siamo molto onorati di averlo potuto dare a lei. Per tutte queste ragioni e per ciò che ha detto nelle sue risposte alle domande che i nostri soci gli hanno posto e il nostro direttore scientifico gli ha posto. La sottolineatura dell'innovazione, la sottolineatura del lavoro da fare nell'insegnamento, nella cultura, ci dice che abbiamo bisogno di affrontare l'innovazione consapevoli che c'è una grande sfida che riguarda tutte le persone, dell'Europa in questo caso, e che la transizione, il passaggio al digitale è fondamentale, ma sarà tanto più positivo quanto più sarà un processo partecipato, consapevole. E quindi è importante che già dalla scuola ci sia la promozione della cultura digitale, perché noi che per esempio operiamo nel campo dei media, la gran parte di noi, perché tutti in fondo operiamo nei media, gli old media della televisione, gli old media della press, della carta stampata, i new media della comunicazione digitale, spesso siamo in competizione e talvolta non ci capiamo, ma quando invochiamo il level playing field, invochiamo una parità di regole, e lei ha parlato anche di regole, l'ho sentita molto bene prima, la invochiamo perché crediamo che le opportunità debbono essere offerte in pari condizioni a tutti e che la competizione nel campo dei media debba essere trasparente. Abbiamo appreso che venerdì la Commissione ha trovato l'accordo sulla Digital Service Act. Aspettiamo di conoscerne meglio i contenuti perché abbiamo appreso che ancora non c'è pubblicato. Ecco, è un provvedimento per la trasparenza, ma ci arriveremo presto. Noi, come sempre, noi come TuttiMedia, noi come operatori della televisione, Genanieri è uno dei principali soci di Confindustria Radio TV, e pure io presiedo per volontà dei nostri soci. E noi guardiamo con attenzione e con interesse a questo processo. Vogliamo avere fiducia nell'Europa, crediamo che l'Europa sia l'istituzione che più di tutte può dare una mano ad un progresso in cui la scienza e le tecnologie continuano a camminare al passo con il pensiero dell'uomo, con le sue libertà, con i suoi diritti, con la sua ricerca di indipendenza, con la sua cultura del pluralismo. Credo che questa sia la cultura della democrazia in fondo e che quindi noi dobbiamo avere fiducia, ma dobbiamo anche trovare un consapevole interscambio continuo con le istituzioni che lei rappresenta oggi a livello più alto in Europa, così come cerchiamo di farlo in Italia, cerchiamo di farlo altrove. Ne abbiamo bisogno di farlo. Noi con TuttiMedia offriamo, come lei ha visto, un luogo permanente di incontro, di dialogo tra operatori differenti, o comunque uguali ma diversi, perché portatori di natura diversa in origine, la televisione, la carta stampata e i new media. Non sempre siamo d'accordo su tutto, soprattutto quando vogliamo capire come regolare il nuovo che avanza, come vivere in un ecosistema digitale, come lei ha detto, no? Ecco, questo è il termine del progresso che vogliamo concorrere a costruire nel nostro piccolo, e penso che l'interlocuzione con figure alte come lei, che propongono all'Europa un'istituzione giovane, un'istituzione anche donna, come ama dire la nostra vicepresidente che ci tiene tanto, segna che ci sono motori nuovi in Europa, c'è un motore innovativo sul quale possiamo riporre fiducia. Grazie, grazie tante. Thank you.
Ok.
Parla un po' di investimenti e c'è un primo fatto la ciliegina che c'è in questa
Lo stavo cercando.
l'uomo col bastone.
Ma sta acceso, guarda. Non parlo più, non parlo più.
Dove la facciamo? Ok? L'unica cosa, salite un attimo se non sono in una posizione un po' complessa. Grazie. Grazie.
Non c'è Claudio per queste immagini. Vabbè, vediamo anche noi.
Sì, grazie. Ok, grazie. Grazie.